All right, so now that we have our basic installation wizard complete, we have the ability to make and take calls. Let's go ahead and dig in and do some fine tuning and set up some of the additional um, things that most customers are going to need. All right, so here, for example, we've completed our installation wizard. Now we're just going to go into settings. Let's go to call features so we can look at the IVRs. All right, so IVR, interactive voice response. Um, it comes with one built here by default, of course. We'll go in here and check a couple of things out. So you can define multiple prompts to be played when that IVR is accessed. And let's go ahead and name this one. This is our main IVR. The prompt is set to default for now. We'll record some more, but do note that you can add multiple prompts to play. They'll play in order from top to bottom there, and then they'll repeat this amount of times, and it'll play through essentially this playlist of prompts. So, good big benefit there is uh, you're you're able to put in temporary ones, um, status alerts, temporary closures, things of that nature. Put those in, play those ahead of time, and then um, be able to also revert it or remove it. All right, so here for this customer, we're going to have it repeat it. We just want to play it. Let's repeat it twice here. Digit timeout, how long between button presses before it registers a response. Response timeout. Um, if there is no response, how long do we wait before we go to the failover destination? Here we're check the ability, or by default it is checked to allow them to dial extensions from wherever. Check the ability for them to access their voicemail from the main IVR, but we don't really need anyone dialing out through the IVR. Okay, so very basically, we've got it set up there. Now let's set those key press events. So when someone presses 0, um, let's go ahead and send it to this 6200 ring group. We're going to make that our operator ring group. If they press 1, you can set a great deal of destinations here, have it hang up, go to an extension, direct to an extension's voicemail, another IVR. This is how you create multi-tiered IVRs, ring group queue, conference, DISA. DISA would give an external caller internal dial tone so they can dial other extensions, access voicemail, even call out. Uh, Call back, fax to email, dial by name, that's your directory, or just have it play a custom prompt, right? So we can set it to play a custom prompt. We don't have any custom prompts loaded there. So let's actually just make this go to a queue. This is going to be our sales queue. Um, we haven't created anymore, but that's one thing we can do here. We'll go ahead and have option 2 go to a new queue. And by clicking new there, of course, we take it to another queue. So this is going to be our um, service queue. We want it to, we'll set it to round robin memory. We'll come back and fine tune this. We just want to put it in there just to create that queue. All right, option 3, we're going to have that as a directory. And then if someone presses star, we actually, let's see, there's a number of things we could do here. Um, for star, let's go ahead and have it go back to itself. Yeah, that can create a loop, which is always frowned upon there, but um, that's just one option that you have. All right, and then if they press the pound key, let's go ahead and just have that go to our operator ring group. All right, if it times out, uh, just go ahead and hang up. And if they press an invalid response, let's go ahead and have that uh, go back to itself. All right, so we'll go ahead and save those. Now, of course, we have hit save there, but we have not hit apply. So if we were to dial 6500 from any of the extensions or dial into the main number, it, uh, you would not be able to dial those key press events that we defined there. Let's go ahead and add um, our unplanned uh, closures, and we'll create a custom prompt for that. Um, but really, we don't even want anyone to press any options. We don't want it. We don't want it to repeat any. We don't need to wait for a response. We don't need anyone to dial anything. Key press event. Um, when they don't press anything, we're going to set our timeout to go to the main IVR. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that for invalid here, just in case someone did press main. And just to cover all your bases, you could define these. However, invalid means anything not defined. All right. So whether they press a key or it times out, it's going to go to the main IVR. All right, and this, of course, will just have it play, sorry, the office is closed for unforeseen circumstances, something along those lines. All right, so we've got our basic IVRs created there. Let's move into ring groups. So ring groups, we talked about having one here. Ring groups are very basic ACD. You only have two ring strategies, ring all or ring sequentially, and how long to ring each member if we're going sequentially. If um, if you have it set to ring all, it will ring all for that amount of time. We're going to drop that down a little bit, 30 seconds there, just for this customer. Failover destination, we actually wanted to go uh, to the receptionist mailbox. That's going to be the general. We're just going to make that a general mailbox. We could also create a new user down here, a new extension, and use that just for a general mailbox. But we'll just use reception there. Um, so this way there are two different ways of reaching the operator. You can dial 0 within the IVR. Um, we'll cover a couple of different things, and there is a forum post on ESI Academy about creating a ring group with the number 0 for the operator. So be sure to go check that out. Um, Gives a lot of extra detail there, but ring groups, again, very basic, very simple stuff. Um, all we've done here is achieve an outcome of uh, having the receptionist and the operator group appear as different entities. The reception, an internal user can dial 5300, and at the same time, we can define additional people here for their phones to ring when someone wants to dial this operator group. So uh, let's say that we need someone to back up the receptionist. We want it to ring reception for 40 seconds, and then we're going to have someone here uh, back up reception, and if no one answers, so it'll ring 40 seconds at the extension 5300, 40 seconds at 5308, and then if no one answers in those 80 seconds, it will then go to that voicemail destination. So again, ring groups, very basic, uh, pseudo ACD, but to get the full benefit of an automated call distribution, we need to use queues. So queues, real quick here, you'll see that there is, this does not appear in the feature code list because this is not changeable. We always want it to be, we'll always use it as *75, but there's a couple ways you can log into a queue. One is the agent can, or the queue member can, the dynamic queue member and or dynamic agent can dial queue number plus star to log in and then queue number star star to log out, or *75 and the queue number um, acts as a toggle to log them in and log them out. Now this is for dynamic agents. To explain a little more difference of static versus dynamic agents, let's go ahead and look in at this first queue here. Now we discussed this was going to be our sales queue, so let's go ahead and rename it here. We don't need a password, or we're not going to require a password for people to log in. Um, and what we want to do is let's go ahead and um, just to be fair to everyone, let's make it whoever had the fewest calls. So everyone should field about the same number of calls. Or, you know what, let's make it least recent. Who hasn't been on the phone lately? Now, the key thing here to remember is um, if they're dynamic agents, they need to log out, for instance, if someone goes on vacation. Otherwise, it will always attempt to send that call because they fielded, or they've had the least recent activity or least recent answered call for this queue. And each queue tracks that data independently. So if you're an agent in multiple queues, even though you just got off of a call for queue 6701, you've everyone else in queue 6700 has taken a call. So now you're going to get the next call for 6700 if we leave it at least recent. Um, Pretty common one to go with here is round robin with memory. Failover destination. Um, because they're sales calls, we always want those to be answered. Or Zucala's Pierogi Emporium always wants them to be answered. We're actually going to have this go to the operator ring group so that someone can answer that. Now, here um, you would select anyone that must be logged in at all times. However, you'll likely want to leave it as, or you could also want to leave them as dynamic agents. Um, so anyone selected in this column here is a static agent. They are unable to log in or log out. Anyone in this list is also considered a dynamic agent. They could all use that *75 feature code or dial the queue star and log into that queue. So we'll leave everyone as dynamic agents here because there's a couple of things in caller experience settings that we can fine tune based off of that. So additional items we can configure here, agent timeout. It's going to ring for 30 seconds to that agent, um, but it can also retry that agent, um, or it will move to the next agent. Um, so if you have it set to ring round robin memory, you have 3 people in queue, it will ring through those 3 people, and then if everyone is busy, it will wait 30 seconds before trying them again. You configure a wrap timer here. Um, this is specific to this queue, but it applies to all agents within the queue. And we can also play an announcement to the agent prior to connecting them to the caller when they answer. So in a heavy call volume environment, it might be nice to know, or especially if you are an agent in multiple queues, it'd be nice to know, have an audible uh, indication of which queue you're taking a call for. We're going to leave that there. And we want to leave ring in use disabled. If they're already on a call, let's not trouble them with yet another call. The caller is already in queue, so there's no need to make them physically ring a phone at this time. Um, some customers may want it, but for a standard install, it's not likely needed. So let's go to call experience settings. So you can play music on hold. We're going to go with the default one here. This should actually show um, all of the playlists that are available that are preloaded. Um, my lab system here that we're demoing all or recording from, um, I have not updated with all of the music on hold playlists that are provided in every eSIP server that goes out. So we'll go with the default music on hold list. One really great thing is um, we can provide periodic announcements to play over that music. It will fade the music down, play the periodic prompt, and then bring the music back in so the customer doesn't have to go out and use a third-party service to record messages over music. All right, so caller max wait time. This is how long they will be in queue if, or how long they'll be in queue if there are agents logged in before it will go to a failover destination. So 1800 seconds is quite a long time. Even 300 seconds seems like quite a while. 5 minutes realistically, if you're waiting 5 minutes on hold, likely um, you, the caller is looking for another source for their pierogies. All right, so we don't want people to join when is no one logged in the queue. Otherwise, you're just gonna they're just going to end up waiting 5 minutes before um, going to the failover destination. So no real need to allow them to join empty. And let's say we have no approved overtime for our agents. So right at 5 o'clock, they're going to log out of queue regardless of whether there's people in queue or not. And when everyone logs out of queue, well, we don't want people to continue waiting, so we're going to leave that box checked. Um, you can also play an announcement uh, to callers before or as they enter a queue, and then you can also ask them to rate their satisfaction. That is going to be an option of satisfied or dissatisfied, just those couple of options there. You can record a custom prompt or use the default one in the system. All right. In addition, you can play an agent ID announcement. So it will play um, if you want to use one. Um, you can play the extension number of the agent answering the call. Um, that's just a transparency thing. Um, but it has been asked for. Very likely that will mostly be left as none. Announce position, let people know what position they hold in the queue. If you have queues failing over to queues, this can cause quite a bit of confusion, as can announce hold time that will um, not announce uh, not announce how long they have been holding, but it will announce their estimated hold time, and there's a pre-recorded prompt to play that. We're going to go ahead and disable that. Unless you're in a call center type environment where you are getting uh, um, heavy call volume into those queues, that's likely to cause more confusion than benefit. Um, but we do want to play the announced position. And remember, people are waiting for 5 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and set this for every 45 seconds. Um, Now, periodic announcements, you could add just a single periodic announcement there, um, add a custom prompt, and every X amount of seconds, it will play that prompt again, dim down soften the music, play the periodic announcement, and then return that music. Now, if you want to, you can give them an option. Of course, you have 0 through 9, including in addition to star and pound. Um, and you can set those, for instance, if they're in queue, you can have a custom prompt in there that says don't uh, if you don't wish to wait in queue, you can press 1 to go leave a voicemail, and we'll dump them in a mailbox um, if they don't want to wait in queue. If someone sees that they're 20th in line, they may not want to wait 5 minutes um, just to be sent to a voicemail anyways. So we can go ahead and give them the option to skip that wait time. It doesn't have to go to a voicemail. We can set 0 to go to our operator ring group. So your periodic announcements or even the join announcement that is played when they enter the queue can say something along the lines of you're in the sales queue. If you realize you're in the wrong place for some reason, press the 0 key and you'll be directed to the operator. Now, the trouble with that is if you give people the option to dial another destination or opt out and go to something like an operator, of course, people are going to take advantage of that if they don't want to wait in queue. So we're going to go ahead and leave this as we want this to send people to that voicemail. All right, and we'll save that. Now, service. Um, so let's say we have our service department, customer support, whatever it may be. Um, we can configure this queue so just like the other one. Change your basic configuration settings, define your static agents, change your failover destination here, and just again fine tune this to fit the customer's needs. All right, so one other thing on the uh, eSIP Evolution series here is the internal conference bridges. These are a great way for fielding multiple callers, of course, and there's a built-in conference panel that allows a moderator to have a visual interface by which they can manage and moderate that conference. So real quick here, 6400, we're going to require people to wait for a moderator. We're not going to require a password for people to call in. Um, we are not going to allow participants to invite other callers, and we're going to set a moderator password. Um, so you can also predefine moderators so that if someone is predefined in the moderator as a moderator, they don't need to enter a password when entering the conference. Uh, and if you have wait for moderator checked, you must at least select one moderator. So um, we're pretty much always going to use this from our conference room. So we'll set this conference phone as the moderator. So immediately from that conference phone, extension 5346, they can dial 6400, and the conference bridge will be opened and allow participants to all communicate together. Um, 5346 does not need to enter a moderator password. So on the note of conferences, while we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at that conference panel. There's far more detail on ESI Academy, but real quickly, just wanted to show what we're looking at here. So if it was active, you would see how many people are in that conference and uh, when it started. Um, to see the conference panel, people do have to have permission, so you can go into as the admin, you can uh, sorry, as the admin, you can add user permissions for the conference panel app. Uh, Ideally, you give this to anyone who is predefined as a moderator and anyone who frequently uses uh, the conference bridges. So you can see the list of any conference bridges. If we created more, they would appear here. And then you can create conference contacts. So let's say you frequently have perhaps Mr. Zucala is frequently on vacation and we want to add him, quickly add him from his satellite phone wherever he may be in the Mediterranean. But if let's say we have a weekly scheduled conference call with him, we could create a contact group, add multiple uh, contacts here, including even mobile numbers. And once we have um, once we have that contact group created, you can even go into your contact list and you can add contacts here, and you can even add an entire contact group if you so wish. So that way, if there's a monthly conference call between management, um, you can create that contact list, and the moderator, whoever runs that conference call, go into the conference panel app and uh, invite all of those management users in. So the system will automatically send a call out to their extensions or cell phone numbers or custom numbers. And once they answer, they'll be connected to the conference bridge. Really great tool here, um, just to add to the user's convenience. All right, so that'll wrap up conferences there. Now let's go into pickup groups. So you have a feature code. Let's go over here and look at those in settings, general feature codes. Um, and *4 is your call pickup feature code. So the default here is *4, of course, and if another phone um, that is in the same pickup group as this user is ringing, all they have to do is dial *4, or they could even create a speed dial key um, on their phone that is *4, and anytime a phone is ringing in that pickup group, you could press *4 to answer that call. So for instance, for that sales group, um, let's go back here into our pickup group. Let's edit this. We're going to name this sales. And let's go ahead and add our salespeople here. So now when they are logged into queue, let's say uh, Brad here stepped away from his desk without logging out of queue, um, and a call comes into that sales queue for him. Well, any of his other sales teammates can see that his phone is ringing. He's not at his desk. They can press *4 and just pick up um, his ringing phone for him. Um, *04 is a directed call pickup. You're specifying an extension to answer versus when using *4 as a member of a pickup group, you don't have to specify what call you're picking up. Paging intercom, there's quite a bit of detail included on ESI Academy regarding paging in intercom, especially when it pertains to multicast paging. So that will be contained in one of the Ask the Experts webcasts. Um, so we won't go into a whole lot of detail here, but we do know that they wanted to utilize multicast paging. Um, and of course, it gives you that note multicast requires compatible phones and additional configuration. Well, we put in that additional configuration when we created those templates. Um, so let's remember this was page all um, and 224.0.0.1, I believe was where we set it. And then um, because it's page all, we set it at port 5000. So on the note of multicast, keep in mind it's not necessary to create a multicast paging group. The reason you create a multicast paging group at the eSIP server is so that devices that don't support multicast can still utilize multicast paging and send a multicast page to those devices that do support it. So for instance, we have an analog um, say we have an analog conference phone that does not, of course, support multicast because it's not on a network. That conference phone can dial 6300 and it will tell the eSIP server then to send a multicast page to all of the uh, multicast supporting devices, um, and it would be all the ones that subscribe to this specific multicast IP and port. All right, but again, for more detail with paging and intercom, check out ESI Academy. There are some more uh, things here. Callback, this one's not commonly going to be configured. Um, this essentially comes into play when a call is dropped. Um, the system can call back that user and put them back to um, where they were. Um, DISA, again, that gives an external number, internal dial tone added here. For more information on these, be sure to check out your admin guide um, on ESI Academy. We're not too worried. Um, we're not too worried about getting this set up for this customer. And frankly, these two are probably not the most used features there, but they are available and they are great tools for the customers that need them. Blacklist, whitelist, of course, more items that you can import and export here. Um, for instance, if you, let's see, if we did not want um, certain extensions to be able to dial um, uh, maybe a door phone or sorry, an external number or either direction. We don't want anyone to dial this number and we don't want that number to dial us. We can add it to the blacklist, name it block both ways, sure. and we can put multiple numbers here. All right. So um, same with whitelist. If you create a blacklist that blocks it for all numbers, and then you need just a few need to be able to actually call it, you can add it to a whitelist. Um, that way they act as exceptions to the rule. Go ahead and delete that. We don't have a big need here for the customers that need account codes. Pin lists are a great way uh, uh, to create those. Create a customer name, and we're going to put this account code as something uniquely identifying them. So you can, if you recall, you can apply a pin list to outbound routes so that, for instance, law offices love this. They can track call durations um, specific to individual customers um, in their CDR records and bill accordingly. Not a need for this customer. Speed dials, another thing that can be pre-configured in the form of a CSV file and then imported. Um, Speed dials are going to use a *99 prefix that can be modified if you need, but it will require speed dials do require a prefix for, like, these are system-wide speed dials. All right, so system-wide speed dials, this doesn't mean people can't configure a key on their phone as a speed dial. This would just be shorthand for give everyone a list of these system-wide speed dials, and here are the prefixes to allow you to dial those without having to dial the full number. All right, so that'll wrap up call features there. Let's dig into the next station or next section right now.